Welcome. In this video, we are going to do a ZeroLogon attack, and this ZeroLogon attack was discovered last year in 2020, September 2020, and it's basically an authentication bypass vulnerability in the Netlogon Remote Protocol, or the MS-NRPC. And what basically do, since it is a authentication bypass, therefore, we are going to be able to change the domain controller password. And if you know that domain controller password, we are going to be able to do a DC sync, which basically we are going to use the domain controller password and get any hash from that, and do also a passive hash attack. Because if you can get the hash of any user, we can do a passive hash attack. And you can also do a golden ticket attack because we can get the KRBTGT password. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to be running MimicAds, and we are going to be running the MimicAds executable. So let's go ahead and go to the CD, because the PowerShell module does not have the ZeroLogon yet. And that's why we're going to be using the executable. And I believe I have it in here. There it is. So the first thing that we need to do is to verify that we do have that our domain controller is vulnerable. So the one that I'm going to be targeting, we are doing the ls dump ZeroLogon attack, and the target is my domain controller. And please be careful, do not do this in a production environment, because this could break your domain controller. And the account that I want to go for is with the DC. Let's see what we find. And oh, that's because I did not run MimicAds though. Okay, so now from here we can use this command, and you can see it's going to try to see if it is vulnerable. And we got authentication. Okay, so it is vulnerable. The domain controller pen testing that local, right? So what we're going to be doing is we are going to go ahead and exploit it, and the one that you need to do is just add exploit at the end. So the same command, just use exploit, and you can see authentication. Okay, it is vulnerable. Set password. Okay, maybe unstable. Okay, so we just set the password. And what was the password set to? The password was set to all zeros, meaning that it was set to nothing. So we just basically null the password. We deleted that password. So there is now no password on the domain controller. So therefore, we can do a DC sync attack, and that the way that you do that is by running this command over here. LSA dump DC sync, the DC that you want to target, my domain controller, the one that we just changed the password to nothing. Authorization user, the DC. Authorization domain. We can just leave that to, you can change that to, let's leave it at exploit.local. And then the authentication password is basically nothing. As you can see, just two quotes, basically meaning that there is no password, because we changed the hash of that domain controller to all zeros. Then it's going to be authentication. We are going to be using NTLM, but we are not going to use any password, no hash, because it was all set to 0, which means that we knew the password. And the user that you want to get, I actually want to get the, well, we can get the KRBTG, and you can see that we can get the KRBTG NTLM hash, which is really bad, because from here we can do golden ticket, silver ticket, we can do a lot with this. So another one that I want to do is that I basically want to let's see, let's get the user, let's see if we can find a domain admin user. So we are going to run PowerShell again, and we are going to invoke PowerView, or best friend PowerView. There we go. And we are going to get the get domain group, same account name, domain admins, see who's in the domain admins group, member. We can see that's Heath Adams. So let's go ahead after Heath Adams. So the one that I want to get is H Adams. And there we go. We got the Heath Adams NTLM hash. Therefore, I'm going to be able to do a passive hash attack. So let's go ahead and do that. We can do that we can invoke MimicAds from here. Let's go ahead and import that, clear that out, and then we can do a passive hash attack with this command over here. But the one that I want to run it for is Heath Adams, not student 5. The domain is pentesting.local, and the NTLM hash is going to be the hash that we just got. And go ahead and run it, and that's going to open another PowerShell command line, and from there we should have the Heath Adams token in it. Awesome. Let's see if we can do invoke command, and let's go set computer, the Active Direct, let's see AD, and we want to do a script block, and let's go ahead and do who am I. So invoke command to AD and see if it returns with Heath Adams, and there we go, Heath Adams. So if you do a host name, so you can see that we are in the AD host name. There we go, AD. If you want to do who am I groups, now you can see that you are the building administrator, and this person is the Heath Adams is in the pen testing domain admins group. So that's what the ZeroLogon is. It is a really bad vulnerability that a lot of people, a lot of companies have not patched these vulnerabilities.